It could happen. No, I wish. I don't have any bang. Okay, video 3 of 3. Wake up, wake up. That's like 140 tickers today, maybe 135. All right. Palantir. I just mentioned Palantir. It's a company I would invest in. It's not just feed. This is a company I would invest in. This is not an obvious entry point, but if somebody wants to own 500 shares and they buy 80, that's okay. It might get bought out. I mean, I don't think they might be. They've been around forever. The people that lead them are super solid. Buy the dip with confidence. They know what they're doing. Okay, earnings in 8 days. If it crashes on earnings, jump all over it. You can sell puts into the earnings if you wanted to own shares lower. To be honest, there's so many breakouts and breakdowns that all you have to do is just look left and say, all right, so it wasn't so great starting here last time it was here or higher. That doesn't mean you short it. It just means you don't go all in. So pick your entry spots. Just be ballsy next time it falls hard and some genius on CNBC tells you the company sucks for reason A or reason B. That's when you put your Buffett hat on and say, I will invest in this company for the future. Just don't go all in. PNM, this is an exit spot. PNM is going to 38. This is an exit spot. Oh, earnings in 3 days. Well, famous last words. How about I do this? So not to offend anybody. Vulnerable. 1, maybe even 2. Okay, and if it gets up here, shortable. I misspelled it, but you know what I mean. Take that out. Okay. POWL. He's going to speak this week, by the way. Lawrence, where can we find the videos if they are available to us? I post the videos everywhere where I share my content. So if you're a member with me, if on Benzinga, you will find them in the chat room. I'll post them in the static chat room, the inner circle chat. And some of you even get emails from me. So, all right, POWL. I don't know what this is. Earnings in 2 days. If it dips into anywhere inside the zone of 108 to 100, it's a buy the dip. Meanwhile, I think they're hunting 156. Not sure how it's going to react to earnings. Anything above 152 is difficult from a chart perspective. Oh, look at that. Vulnerable. Where would I have put those words before? Look, vulnerable. Yeah, buddy, it is. So I'd remember it next time. Rallies into 160 are shortable. Or if it gets to 160, I'm out from a trading perspective. If you lose 127.50, you're going to 112. PayPal, same. If you rally into 61.5 is shortable, but if you break out from 62, you go to 66. Trading comments. If you lose the lows from last week, you're probably going to end up in the 54s. Earnings in 2 days. Awesome. So PayPal, I will trade on whooshes. Good morning. Replay of this will be available later. Yes, sir. It takes me a couple of hours, but I do post them today. Come to me before the earnings of PayPal. Maybe we'll be able to sell a straddle or something like that. Qualcomm. What do they do again? Oh, yes. Everything. Everything in your hand and in your pocket comes from them. Snapdragon. Great company. Great forecast. Nick, I could have painted it. If you followed my lines, you made a fortune. Look at this P&L. Solid as hell. And look at this price behavior. This is just like NVIDIA. Great companies. The future. Look, the stocks are this. Look at the charts. This is NVIDIA. And this is the other one. They're exact same shape. Okay. So 1 second. Okay. So Qualcomm as an investment is okay. Nibble. Leave room to add. I think rallies will be sold into 195. It might end up at 160 and 162, make a great entry. So I wouldn't go all in. I would sell puts with confidence to own shares. They are mobile computing. RIVN, okay, so you need to track their margins. This rally was on infusion of cash. I think they're in deep trouble still, unless they change their cost of goods sold. Okay, so keep your track on that one. If you invested in it, just be happy you invested in it. I wouldn't add. Every rally, okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. From here to here. Okay. That was the last spike. Let's see what happens. Now, why doesn't it let me show this on all time frames? If I go to daily, it doesn't show up. Okay. Anyway, so I wouldn't add to my investment. The cars are plentiful. They're selling the hell out of them. And my neighborhood has like 2 or 3 now. And I saw a small truck the other day, like something like a Ford Ranger size. That was interesting. So technically speaking, from a charting perspective, you have earnings coming up in 9 days. So I honestly don't know what they're going to say and how people will react to it. It just burns too much cash for my taste. ROKU. You've heard the term about RIVN. You can go out of business while making money. I'm not saying they're going out of business, but that's just a lot of cash. They need to change that. ROKU 61 should be death for the chart. 4 days, you get an earnings report. Wildcard, this was a good trading stock. I haven't traded in a while. I tell you my plan. I'm going to let them report, and I'll trade the action off of it. If it dips below 51 or 52, I think it goes a lot lower. I will sell puts to own the shares, and that will be my trade. It's in the middle of a current range. If you go long or you go short, you're guessing. If you're an investor, then you're an investor. Don't be all in. Just leave room to add. You see those on the left? Look at the lines on the left. That's all I have to say. Watch. Look at how well they played out. So if it goes to the second one, the third one, I would short it or exit my longs. If it dips below the consolidation zone, which is an older consolidation zone, I would go long. Even if it dips into 53 on the earnings, I would go long. RTX, just like LMT, not for me up here. It looks like a breakout. This people will say, ooh, let me go. Let's zoom out and see what's to the left. Is this an all-time high? It is. Maybe. Yes. So you can't short it. And where's the rush? You've waited until it hits an all-time high to get long. You didn't get long here. You didn't get long here. Or here. Or here. And now you want to go long. I don't get it. S, I believe that it spiked on CrowdStrike. So from that perspective, they're buying dips. And if you're holding it long for 27, you might get it. But the whole zone is a problem. So this box is an exit spot for me. In fact, anything at or below, actually last week's highs are going to be difficult. So here's how I would say it. Getting here and getting through here are two different things. Now, that was target 1 for me. Okay, target 2 is up here. I don't think it's easy. So buy the dip. Where? Anywhere below 21. The closer to 19, the better. SkyWest, I think that's an airline. I discussed it with somebody that was an investor. I forgot the conversation. Was it before this dip? Okay, so this dip is into a very solid ascending channel. Again, I don't know why this is a beloved. I mean, it's not the great P&L, and it's not bad, but it's not like super great that warrants all of it. So I don't understand how that happens. How does a stock do this? when the PNL is flat as a pancake. I just don't get it. Like, what are they chasing? It's like ANF. There is no way I would belong this company in spite of this beautiful trend. There's just too much downside that is not justified. This does not back up the chart. So if you're a technical momentum trader, yes, you can buy the dip, expecting a 95. So we do it on the way down here. So I'm trying to find when was the last time it dipped this much. This dip is bigger than all the other ones. So maybe this one is different. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this one. I think it does this time. That's what I think it does. So watch for the next bounce. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Come to me, whoever you are. Come to me. Let's discuss it every couple weeks. Schlumberger. It's in a resistance zone. And target 1 is met. Target 2 is 46. Let's see if it gets to target 2. I think it's difficult to beat 52. So this would have been my exit spot, and I wouldn't look twice. I think it's impossible to beat 56. A huge range for such a stable PNL. Doesn't make sense. So be careful. This might be a market maker making money off of you. I nailed silver trade, and believe it or not, I got assigned shares short, and I exited my short too soon. So it's approaching my target zone. I shorted it, and then what screwed me up was gold. Gold had another bounce, and it screwed me up with that. Anyway, the trade was to own a $27 put, and then it closed in the money, and I didn't close my put, and I was assigned short, and I woke up when it gapped down, and I closed at 26.30. So I wouldn't go long. This might carry lower. SMCI. So for silver, there's nothing to do. If you're looking to go long, I think you'll get a better entry point. It's too late to short it. SMCI is looking to hold this. If you lose that orange line, you will have a disaster on your hands. Like a disaster. Like it'll be at 440. I'm not going to put it there. Well, I guess I'll put it there. So I'm not nervous Nelly. Okay? But this is, if you lose this orange line, this is your path. And that's my path. The actual path extends to up here. So all the way down to the 200s. Not in my book right now. Good P&L. I don't know how it's going to come out after 9 days. So we'll see what they have to report, and more importantly, how the companies will perceive it. SMH, everything I said about SMCI and applies here, and AMD and all of that. So rallies, I think, are going to be challenged by charts and what happens when you retest these. This is the bearish outlook if somebody wants to short it. This is what's probably going to happen versus the bulls, where they say, oh no, we're going to bust through this and make a higher high. So we shall see. I'm updating the charts as I go. Entry points. Okay. You do not want to lose this one. I didn't time it that way on purpose. If you lose this one, This is for like 4 months from now. If this plays out, repeat it, it will end up here. So that is the market correction path. For now, support zone. This whole thing is support zone. So let's put a support zone here. Buy the dip into the support zone for the bounce. And if they rally and they don't make a higher high, fail at this red box, they're in danger of doing this. So great company in it. Just make sure that you're open to the disaster scenario. I wouldn't hold puts for it. I'd just draw. I just wouldn't chase blindly. Snow. Okay. If you lose the support here in snow, you end up triggering confirming the breakdown. So let me show you. God, can I put more lines here? Okay. See this red line right there? All right. So I'm going to scribble and maybe I'll take it off. Right here. Let's put it in some other color. How about white? There's no white on the screen. Okay, so take it out and rescribble it. Right here and right here. So that's support. If they lose here before they recover it, if they don't get to X, you're going to Y or lower. Recover X, whoops, or risk going to Y. Wow, nice. The heck was that? Not even close. Okay. That's as simple as I can say it. 24 days until earnings. SOFI reports Monday. So I don't know if it's before the earnings, before the bell or after. If it's after the bell, then come to me and we'll talk about it. I would buy dips in SOFI. I'm really scared about banking and the level of debt in this country. If SOFI goes below 6.9, you'll get a 6.3 entry. If it takes out 8, it goes to 10. And I guarantee you, the minute it hits $10 or $9, I'm going to be bogged down with requests. Hey, can I go long SOFI? Meanwhile, when it goes to 5, nobody wants it. Spotify, I'm short and winning. I think somebody closed their position at 50% of maximum gains. So we collected an amount of money. I can't remember. Let's say it's $80. And they made $50 out of it or $45 out of it. So the idea is to just fade the rally. I wasn't actively shorting it by buying a put. I just said, okay, you've rallied, nice, but I think you will fail before taking out that spot. And it's winning. You can close it if you want to. As far as going long, I think it has more room for downside. Nothing against the company. Anywhere around 314 plus or minus $2, it's very intriguing. Square, earnings in 4 days. Just like Snow, recover X or go to Y. I can repeat the same thing here. They're losing this, and if you don't come up to here, you're going to here. No joke. Okay, so it has support. In fact, this was my debit call spread, so that was a bullish trade that played out nicely. This is 113%. So this is target 3 of this red W. You rarely get 2 targets these days, and this one gave us 3. P&L is not that great. I mean, it's a pretty good company. And it trades with Bitcoin usually, and it's falling on rallies in Bitcoin, so that's pretty strange. Starbucks, whoever submitted this ticker, you're lucky I looked at it. You misspelled it. Whoops. Okay, so I would own this company as an investment at these levels. What is going on here? Why can't I move this? The idea is that if it loses the support from the last 10 days, you might end up much lower. Earnings in 2 days. So if I'm long, I don't add. I would sell covered calls and buy puts if I'm worried about it. And if I wanted to get long, I can take half of a position as an investment. And if it gets big haircut on earnings, maybe I will consider adding the second half. But if I wanted to sell puts into the earnings to own shares, that's doable as well. Let's talk about it before they report. This, by the way, I don't know what that was. I'm trying to remember. I kind of remember. Somebody upgraded them, or they fired people, or they can't remember what it was. Anyway, if you take out 79.50, you get to 85, and that would be an exit spot from a trading perspective. So I gave you the investment perspective and the trading perspective. TLT, big things going on here, but I don't think anything will happen. Why not? Because if he cuts rates, he's not going to be cutting rates forever. And if he raises rates, he's not going to be raising rates forever. So we should be stuck. Now, I respect the person who has a view on the TLT that is very bullish, because they have a view on rates that is very bearish. So they think that this one's going to explode above 95. If that's the case, folks, we have a full-blown QE going, which means rate cuts like every couple of months, and maybe even some, I don't know, some actual QE, monetary QE, addition to the funds. If we have that, I think we have a broken economy. So that means the next set of reports is going to be, economic reports are going to be disastrous. So I vote for the TLT being stuck in a range. I wouldn't hold calls or puts for that reason. Right now we have sellers below and sellers above and buyers below. Tesla, don't be surprised to see it at 190 or 255. So I think they just freaking hate the guy, and I think he's unhinged right now. And I'm not a hater, trust me. He's on rants and he's emotionally involved. The company is going to sell every car it has. There's no doubt. Even those ugly trucks, they're going to sell them. But the problem is that as a car company, it's too expensive. As a tech company, it's not. Literally, the sky's the limit. So if he comes out, if he would just come out and tell me, I have a new source of income coming, and here's when it's going to come, and here's how much I'm going to make, I would not short the stock. If you're an investor for the long term, you can hold it. I wouldn't add. If you wanted to eventually own 200 shares of Tesla and you buy 100 here and another 100 if it gets a 40-50% drop, that's okay. Sell puts to own shares, that's okay. But to just blindly go long is not okay. So the idea as an investment depends on what you believe he can deliver. Technically, you're vulnerable to go to 185, and rallies into 245 should be met with selling. TSM hit my target to the penny. I mean, you can't make this schmut up. Look at this and look at that. You can go back and watch my videos. Look at this path and the actual price action. It's perfect. Even with the bounce. So we know our stuff. And the next rally into 172 should be met with sellers. And I would trade this on the long side, except that I think that we can drift lower. You can make money off the drift lower, okay? And you know what? I have to go look. I think I sold naked calls in this one out in time. So I need to go revisit it to make sure I don't still have them open. And great company. This is one of the best companies on the planet, P&L wise, management wise. So it's just a matter of finding a level that's attractive. As an investor, if I own shares, I'm selling covered calls all the time, and I'll keep my shares. I'm not adding shares here. TTD, I think recovering 95 is crucial, 96 even. So you know how I said to the other stock, if you don't get to X, you're going to Y? Well, this one could not get to X, so it went to Y. So now you can repeat that comment. If you don't get to 96, you're probably going to revisit the lows. And if you lose the lows, if you lose 88, I think you go to, I don't know, 82. When I say I don't know, it means it's a moving target. I need to see what happens between now and then. Okay, so what I guess I'm saying, it's at risk of drawing an inverse cup and handle. And they look like this. And the downside is as big as that usually. I don't usually do that. I say, okay, they'll dip and they'll try to recover it, and then it'll eventually come down here somewhere. Let's see if I eyeballed it correctly. See, I'm generous. I usually would not go through the whole thing. I would say, okay, you might have a stop here. Look how consistent I am with that. So this is a potential path. What I'm saying is there's a lot of resistance up here. And earnings is in 11 days. So we will get to find out soon how good my drawings are. Okay. TWLO, one of my favorite stocks. Earnings in 4 days. Dude, you cannot guess. What? 65 or 53? If it goes to 53, I'll sell puts to own the shares. You're at risk of triggering something right here. What the heck? Okay, so what window are we on here? Okay, I don't know where that alert went. This one, I don't want it there. It'll go beep in a minute. Yes, delete it. Okay, so I was going to put an alert here. And, you know, an alert here. Cup handle-ish to 64. Whoops. Okay. So you're stuck between sellers, and if you beat them, you get up to here. And you're stuck at buyers. If you lose them, you come to 55 or below. And if you come to 55 and below, you can lose 52. And I would be aggressively selling puts to buy the shares. This is a growth story. Everybody hates it when it delivers something that they don't like. Unity. So I said leave it alone, but it's worth a shot from an investment perspective. The only problem is it's never been this low before. So if you're in it as an investment, just manage your risk there. If it makes a lower, the only way to stop out with this chart is to say, okay, I invested 1,000, I won't lose more than 300. That's just one way of doing it, or 200 or 400. Pick a number you're comfortable with. For the miracle bounce to, I mean, you could double your money or 40% of your money, but I don't know why you would. So you can own the shares and sell covered calls continuously, 11 days until earnings. Okay, we discussed airlines a lot. There's nothing to do here. This is target 1 and target 2, and we're right in the middle of those two. Earnings in 80 days. So the catalyst is gone. I think there's a lot of sellers at 51 and a lot of buyers at 40. So if it falls to 40, I wouldn't exit longs. I would start longs. If it goes to 51 and I was trading, I would exit longs. 49.50, 50 is a problem. So the catalyst, I think, are 49.50 and 44.2. 49.50, 44.2. That's an important box. Hopefully you saw, you heard him. Okay. I'll put it here, visible on all. That's the box. Uber. I don't know why I say it that way. No, I know why. Okay, so don't be surprised if you find Uber at 56 and or at 80. What? Yeah. So it has solid support below. But if it blinks and it loses the support, it whooshes lower. Buying opportunity. And if it rallies hard, it's going to meet a lot of sellers at 72. But in theory, if it can take out 74, it would explode past the highs. Now, I don't know why it would do either. In concept, I do like the company. But in reality, I don't think they can accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. They want to become an aggregator of business like Amazon. I don't know if they have Bezos kind of mind. So let's see how it handles 71 to 73. It has support. If you lose this support right there at 62, uh-oh, is the comment. I think it goes to the low 50s. 9 days, earnings. Oh, by the way, that was a target of mine at one point. Okay. UEC. Oh, another uranium story. Yeah, not for me. They lost a really important line they needed to hold, 650. Now they're in danger of going to 480. How about I say, if you don't recover 6.2 or 6.3, you're going to 4.8. ULTA, if I'm not long, I would sell puts to own shares. I think I have a position in it. I don't remember. Pretty sure I do. If not, I'll put one on. Okay, earnings in 32 days. ULTA is not liquid. This is a huge head and shoulders they're triggering. So in theory, it could go to 270. So if you sell a put, make sure it's deep enough to where you actually can own the shares. I will share it if I haven't done one yet. Hopefully we will catch a red day on that. Well, not hopefully get a red day, but if we do catch a red day, hopefully we can get into it on time. Okay, so this one has resistance at 80, has support at 74. Those are your next two lines. You lose 74, you get to 71. You lose 70, you will go down to that red arrow. That's not my forecast. So I'm told that the U.S. is the U.S. is pumping at a record pace oil. Why is oil not cheap? Okay, I'm just asking questions. Okay, side comment. USO should be plummeting, and it's not. Someone's asking here, what is my take on a rate cut in July? And there's no rate cut in July. If there is a rate cut in July, the market should freak the fudge out. Why? Why? He just told us he's waiting to see different numbers. If he now emergency cut in July, it means he just saw something that scared him silly, and the market should freak the fudge out. I don't think he cuts all year, and he might do one in December or as late as possible in the year to say one and done. There's no need for a rate cut. There's going to be a big discussion about it. Anyway, it's debatable. It's a good topic to debate. If you lose 75, I think you go down into the zone here in the USO. VALE or VALE. Lost an important zone of 1110. You need to recover 1110 or 1120. And then if you can overcome that, you will avoid going to 1030. Until then, you're probably going to 1030. So if this one has decent premiums and you want to own shares, you can make a living off of selling puts every week to own the shares. Huh. Let's look at it. I don't track VALE. I know a couple. Peter, was that you? This is not an obvious entry point in this thing. Just ask this person or that person. This is a contention level. I think coming to 71, 72 is one thing, and going past it like it's not there is something else. So buy the dip into 58. What? There's no earnings, no income. Okay, so this is definitely invest in it for the futures. If you think it's going to have a good future, if you're actually trading the stock, those are my comments. Victoria's Secret, middle of the range, heavy seller, heavy buyer. If you guess up or down, you're making a guess. I think it's easier to get to 1750 than it is to blow past 2050. If you can make money out of those comments, let me know. If you lose 1750, you will come down to 1620. That would be a tradable dip. WBD, at some point I said own it. Is it on my list? It is. So if it's an investment, then stay in it. I don't know if I don't remember when I said it. I mean, we hit all my targets. It has support at 780. So if I bought it down here for an investment, I'd stay in it. If they go above 9, they can go to 1020. I wouldn't buy it for that purpose, but if I bought it, I made the decision I would stay in it. XLE. So price of oil is active, and Chevron, Exxon are struggling. That's what XLE is. Half of the XLE almost is Chevron, Exxon. It has a lot of sellers above. So the XLE needs to break out of that 94.50 to explode higher. So you need to look at Chevron, Exxon. A lot of support below. If for whatever reason you lose 87.50, oh my gosh, I don't know where it's going. So look at Chevron and Exxon to determine what you want to do with it. And make sure you know when they report. The XLF, I'm short. I think the XLF should crash. correct. It should correct. Better word than crash. It's going technically into a problem area of 43.60. Let's see. I think this path is still possible, this brown path I have. Although it did show leadership last week. The XLI, same. It did crash the first time. It gave me, so I'm short the XLI. I shorted it here. It's been a while. So I sold calls and bought puts. The bought puts are red. The sold calls are played out. I need to roll the sold calls down if I wanted to stay in the bought put. So maybe I'll bail out of the bought put if this doesn't play down. So the XLI, I expect to see 124.50. If I don't, then I'm going to rethink my short. Restructure it in a way to where it's not time dependent. I'm running out of time. The XLV, if you twist my arm, I would be bearish. But if it goes above 150, it might get another $1.50 out of that. XOM, we just discussed it. I think down is easier. Great company, great management. It's just too expensive, but who knows? The catalyst is 120. Break out of 120 if you have a nice bounce to 126. Z, the comment, the trade on Z was to buy shares. They're red, but it's part 1 of 2. I remember writing up the trade. So if I bought 50% of my shares, I am not adding the other 50% here. Earnings in 8 days. I believe, thanks to Raghu for the trade idea, this is a buyout candidate. He did homework. I trust his homework. So if I own shares, I'm not looking at them as long as I'm not all in. Okay. And let's see what happens in the next few days with that one. And with that, folks, this is the end of the video. I got to go because I have another webinar coming up and I cannot loiter. Zoom and ZI, same ownership? I don't know why that would be. You're welcome, D. You're welcome. I appreciate you, those who are here, 52 people. Thank you. Awesome. High five. Thank you for taking time on your Sunday. If you're watching this at home, consider joining us one of these days. It's pretty fun.